Welcome. This video, or I should say series of videos, because there's going to be more than one part. These videos are created for students who are taking financial accounting. And as you can see by this title page, it is about additional instructions for the graded project, which is project number 061579. So this here is going to be part one. I don't know how many videos this is going to take. It may be two, maybe three, probably more like three or four. All right, but this will be additional instructions for the graded project. Now, before we get started, the graded project is on pages 27 through 45 of well, actually 46 of the digital study guide. So when you're looking at, your lesson one and you're looking at that digital study guide, I've had a few students say, oh, well, where's the, instructions for the project? Well, when you're looking at, page 7, I believe, which is the assignments page, it says assignment 1, assignment 2, and assignment 3, and then it says the graded project. Well, assignment 1 is chapter 1 in the textbook, assignment 2 is chapter 2 in the textbook, and assignment 3 is chapter 3 in the textbook, and then you do the graded project. So if you were reading the instructions for each assignment, the very next thing you would have in that digital study guide would be the instructions for the graded project. So with all of that said, I'm going to move on to the next slide here, and I highly suggest that you stop this video or pause it or do whatever you have to do in order to get the graded project instructions so that you can follow along as to what you need to do. I'm not going to recreate the entire project, and I'm not going to repeat all of the instructions. As you can see by the title here, it says summary, right? So I'm only going to touch upon the salient points and provide some additional instruction as to what needs to be done for this project. So again, stop the video and get the instructions so that you can follow along, and hopefully you've read the instructions before you're watching this video. If you're watching the video first thinking that this is all that there is to it, wrong. You need to go and look at the instructions and read the other detail that has been left out. I'm not going to get into a lot of the detail for this particular project. I'm going to give enough information so that you have an idea as to what needs to be done for this project. Okay, so I'm going to begin here on page 27, right? And when you're reading that information, it says the material you need to know in order to complete the project has been covered in the textbook and the assigned exercises / problems. If you understand the chapters and completed the assigned homework problems, you should have no problem with the project. Okay? If you don't understand something in the chapters or the exercises and problems, then telephone or contact an instructor for help. That's what we're here for. Financial accounting is about understanding the concepts and then applying it to the situation. You can't just read the chapter and then think you're going to be able to do the graded project. You need to be able to do the homework problems, and if you can do the homework problems, then you can do the graded project. The project is to be completed by hand with a pencil and paper. Use the blank forms that are provided. Right? Now, I realize that means printing out from the PDF. Okay. However, the lines on the paper are not important. What is important is that the correct format is used. Therefore, blank copy paper can be used as long as the formats are correct. For example, when you look at the financial statements provided, the balance sheet, the income statement, statement of retained earnings, there are no lines on the paper. However, the statements are in the correct format. And realize that you're talking about professional papers here. So formatting is very important. Right. On page 28, it says, The following financial statements are provided from the prior accounting period. Okay, that's the post-closing trial balance, the balance sheet, the income statement, and the statement of retained earnings. And these financial statements are provided on pages 29 through 32. Now, I'm going to be using my digital pen here, okay? And I'm going to write, scribble. This is not professional production, as you can tell by my stuttering and stammering and things like that. But as I'm going through these, I'm going to just things that pop into my mind, I'm going to blurt out. It says here the following financial statements are provided from the prior accounting period, and the prior accounting period was December 31st. Okay. Now here's the thing. At the end of an accounting period, the financial statements are created. And so that means the balance sheet, the income statement, and the statement of retained earnings. Those statements are only pertinent to that particular accounting period. Right? The reason why we provide this balance sheet, the income statement, and the statement of retained earnings is because that is an example of what your financial statements should look like. I mean, almost identical. Okay. What will be different will be the figures that are used, because obviously, numbers are going to change during the next accounting period. But when if you look at a business's financial statements, they look exactly alike from one period to the next, to the next, to the next. So these financial statements were given to you for you to use as an example as to what yours should look like. They should look almost identical. I mean, obviously, some things are going to be different when it comes to formatting. For example, this was the last day of the previous accounting period, so obviously you're not going to use this date. You're going to use the date for the accounting period for January. Okay, so that's going to be a change, and of course, all of the numbers are going to change. But as far as accounts are concerned, they're going to stay the same. What should be bold should stay the same. The indentation should stay the same. Underlining and double underlining, all of these things are important because they're professional papers, right? This is not just something that you do just, as a scribble, do my homework assignment. I mean, these financial statements go outside of the company and they show the professionalism within that, company. So formatting is very, very important, right? So with that said, you have your balance sheet, income statement, estate, and retained earnings. You also have a post-closing trial balance. That is on page 29. Now, a little bit about what a trial balance is. A trial balance is nothing more than a list of the general ledger accounts and the balances in those accounts. Okay, so when you're looking at your December 31st post-closing trial balance, yes, your cash business checking account has a balance of $20,000, $20,500 as of December 31st. Your accounts receivable has a zero balance. Okay? Your prepaid rent has a zero balance. Your vehicle has a balance of 48,000, a debit balance of 48,000. So these are the ending balances for December 31st, but they become the beginning balances for the next accounting period, which would begin January 1st. Okay, so we need this post-closing trial balance in order to set up our books. Now, one other thing, it's called the post-closing trial balance, and later on you're going to find out that we're also going to use an unadjusted trial balance, and we're also going to use an adjusted trial balance. Okay. Remember, a trial balance is nothing more than a listing of the accounts and the balances in those accounts. The name of the trial balance, unadjusted, adjusted, or post-closing, represents when you actually created that particular trial balance in the process that you need to do at the end of the accounting period. Okay, so even though we're talking about a post-closing trial balance, later on we're going to see these other trial balances. Okay, and one last thing before I end this video is that you'll notice on the post-closing trial balance that your general ledger accounts do not have numbers. Okay, you need to assign those accounts numbers. Right? So all of your asset accounts should begin with a number 1. Right? All of your liability accounts should begin with a number 2. So your equity should begin with 3. Your revenues should begin with 4. And your expenses should begin with 5. Now, however you decide to number them, I mean, you can number them 100, 200, 300, 400, or you can number them 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. It's up to you. But how many digits you actually use, all of your assets should begin with a 1. All of your liabilities with a 2, equity with a 3, revenues a 4, and expenses with a 5. So on this page 29, I would go down and assign an account number to each and every one of those general ledger accounts. You don't need to add accounts. You're not going to add accounts for this project, and you do not delete accounts either. So what you have on this post-closing trial balance is all you need for this project. Okay, with that said, I'm going to stop here and then pick up in the next video.